Today, we're going to look at one of the most popular ways that teachers are using EnlightenAI, and that is to train a teaching assistant who can give immediate AI feedback during in-class formative writing practice. Let's dive into creating an assignment, and we'll show you how to set this up. So here's an assignment that I've started creating. It's a 10th grade writing assignment for school uniform policies. I can make sure that I have all my details set correctly. I'm expecting one paragraph response. I have a prompt. I have some readings. And I can come over here and add in the same feedback instructions that we're used to. Now, crucially, when I create an assignment in Enlighten this way, you'll notice we have the option here to train my AA with examples. This is where we can go in and do that side-by-side grading process to calibrate and tweak our feedback before students ever interact with this teaching assistant. So I can click Edit Samples. If I have my own samples, I can actually copy and paste those and add them here and put those exemplars in the system so that we can do that side-by-side grading. Or if I don't have those examples, I can actually click here and then I could generate those with AI. So for example, maybe I want the system to create a response for me that's a 222. And I can say, write me a response with a few errors and weak evidence for claims. And I'll click Generate Sample. Now the system can look at the prompt, it can look at the readings, it can look at the rubric, and it can generate that sample for me. And then I can go ahead and train my AI looking at my first sample, which is a high response. Okay, 444, good, these feedback look good. I'll click Approve and do next. And now we'll look at our medium response. And maybe I'll have to recalibrate this because I think this is actually all twos. I'll regenerate those feedback scores and go through this process to make sure that my teaching assistant is fully trained. Once I'm done with that, I can click Next Step, and I can choose to assign this for instant AI feedback. Notice that I can choose how many attempts I want my students to be able to do. I'll say 5 here. I'll ask the system also give them inline AI feedback, which is to say comments on their work that are color-coded, as we'll see. I can even include custom instructions for these inline feedback comments. Lastly, you can choose to disable pasting if you want to. I'm going to leave it turned on for this demo so that I can copy and paste, but we can dissuade students from maybe more creative uses of AI here. Lastly, I can assign it to the right class and click Publish. Now I'll have the ability to quickly share a code with my students that will bring them right to the assignment. Let's flip over and look at a student view of EnlightenAI so we can see how they'll interact with the system, how they'll be able to write and receive feedback. So here I am viewing EnlightenAI as a student. I'm only rostered into one class, so I'll go ahead and click in, and I'll see all of the assignments that my teacher has added for this class. And right at the top, I'll see my school uniform policy assignment. So I'll enter that one. And now I can see my task and the prompt. I can review whatever sources I might have had to read, and I can see where I'll be getting feedback. Now, I have 5 tries to submit my writing and receive feedback, so let's get to it. Maybe my first time, I only write a couple sentences because I'm not really sure where to get started. And I'll go ahead and submit those for feedback and see what Enlighten can do. It's going to scan my submission and immediately start to give me feedback in both comment form on the left side, rubric scores, and then these inline comments here. So I can review all of this and see that I'm stating my opinion well. I need to add some specific facts, statistics, or a quote from my sources. Okay, looks like that's probably going to be reflected here. Good, strong position. I mentioned that uniform stop students from being judged. That doesn't include a specific fact. Okay, so I have a good sense of where to go next. I need to go back and maybe read my sources again, look through these, and find some evidence that supports my claim. So maybe I'll do that. I'll write a little bit more, and now I want to resubmit and see how I'm doing. EnlightenAI can scan the work, and it will be able to tell the difference between submission 1 and submission 2. And you can see it's going to start to give me feedback about how I've improved. And I can see my rubric scores are going up. Awesome. This is great to see. And now what I can do as a student is keep iterating and keep improving my essay based on the feedback I'm getting. What we hear from a lot of our teachers and from a lot of students is this it really helps gamify the process. They love getting this much feedback. They love being able to see these scores go up. Now, while all this is happening and we have our AI teaching assistant giving individualized feedback to every student in the class multiple times, the teacher has a lot of tools at their disposal. Let's go back and take a look at those. While each student is writing in EnlightenAI, the teacher can come back to the assignment that they've made and they can click this View Live button here. This will bring them to a dashboard where immediately class trends are going to start to surface and they'll be able to monitor all of the work their students are doing. That might mean clicking these buttons to filter on students who are in different stages of their writing development. Maybe students who are idle, like most of my fake students are here, students who are really behind and need help and maybe aren't seeing the improvement they're looking for over multiple rounds, or students who are actively writing. I can scroll down and see each student's tile, view their status, and even click in to view their draft. In this case, I can see this student is working on their third draft. I can maybe click back and see what their first draft looked like, see the improvements they've made, and see what they're up to now. If I want to highlight some text and leave them a comment of my own, I can easily do that. What I can also do at any time is I could grab a student response and show call it to bring it to the entire class. Of course, I can do this anonymously. I could even present comparison if I have two different responses that I want to show. Lastly, if I want some help knowing where I should focus my time, I can click Generate Suggestions over here on the left side, and EnlightenAI will actually generate suggested moves for me as a teacher. So this will show me where I should focus, maybe a student I should praise, other students that I should jump in and give some more support to, and generally just give me a sense of where I can go. The idea here is that while your in-class teaching assistant is giving every student individualized feedback and really supporting them on a very, very one-to-one level, you can still get lots of data that tells you where to go as a teacher and what you need to be focusing on. At any time, you can also click and go to your grading summary screen where you can see all the different attempts, and you have a variety of tools here to manage the number of feedback rounds that are available and maybe turn off the assignment when you want to. Of course, at the end of the grading process, you still have full control here to finalize all of the feedback, make changes, and make sure that this reflects your final grade, your final rubric scores for each student. And you can still generate those same data-driven reteaching resources that we've seen before.